Elon Musk is an incredibly strange individual. Separate just the bad, the evil, the maniacal. He is plain weird. And it's not just him who is accomplishing that weird. Elon employs some illicit substances to get him to the level of strange that he is constantly displaying. Now, that would be bad on its own, but he has power that he shouldn't in our government, which makes it so much worse. And getting caught using those substances while doing his job as a government employee or whatever he wants to call himself as co-president is really bad. And that is exactly what happened. And now Elon has found himself in some legal trouble because of it. And we are going to get into that all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. Now, there are many instances I could be referring to when I say that Elon's using substances on the job, but one of the clearest examples can be seen in this clip right here.
If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and people said, well, that proves he's a huge idiot from a, look, he bought it for whatever, $44 billion, and now it's worth like 8 cents. And
it's not worth 8 cents.
But there's it was essentially to buy freedom of expression.
Very clearly, that is not a person with his wits about him. We saw this when Elon was in Wisconsin a few short weeks ago as well. This should come as no surprise that the things up here aren't just weird because of his own doing, but also because he's doing ketamine is apparently his drug of choice, and Elon has been pretty public about that, but he hasn't been public, much like Pete Hegseth, about using it while on the job. But we know that it is happening, and Elon has been pretty clear about all that. So before we get into the ramifications of what he is doing, I want to hear him talking about why.
So when you're doing this, are you sober when you do it?
Almost always,
Are you under the influence of anything?
No, I don't drink. I don't really. No.
But you've admitted that you have a ketamine prescription.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Well, I mean, it's pretty private to ask somebody about a medical prescription, But I think it's something I'd say, like, there are times when I have sort of I don't know, like a negative chemical state in my brain. Like depression, I guess, is or like depression that's not linked to any negative news, and then ketamine is helpful for getting one out of a negative frame of mind.
Do you feel like you ever abuse it?
I don't think so. If you use too much ketamine, you can't really get work done. So I have a lot of work. So I'm typically putting in 16-hour days. That's normal for me, and it's rare for me to even take off a weekend day. So I don't really have a situation where I can be not mentally acute for an extended period of time. Like I can't really get wasted because I can't get my work done.
Do you ever worry that this may get in the way of your government contracts and clearances, and also and Wall Street as well?
Well, from a standpoint of Wall Street, what matters is execution. Are you building value for investors? Tesla is worth about as much as the rest of the car industry combined, from nothing. So that's pretty good.
You talk about your ketamine use and depression. Have you also have said, and
the reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people. That's why I mentioned it.
So if that sounded like a bunch of mumbly nonsense to you, it's because it was. I don't even think Elon knows how much he's using or abusing these substances, but certainly considering the way he acts, the way he talks, what he does, his general behavior and vibe, not to say that without drugs it wouldn't be weird, it certainly would be, but it is causing some serious problems that are being inflicted upon us. So one specific lawmaker decided that she would take Elon's weirdness into her own hands and is responding. And I want to check that out from Mikey Sherrill right here. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill introduces bill to require Elon Musk to pass a drug test to maintain special government employee status. Representative Mikey Sherrill introduced new legislation to force Elon Musk, who has a well-documented history of drug use, and his Department of Government Efficiency employees to pass a drug test and participate in random drug testing in order to retain their special government employee status with the United States government. Donald Trump has given billionaire Elon Musk the keys to our government and with it access to highly sensitive information, from Treasury and Social Security data to even our most guarded military plans. Those with access to sensitive information must be thoroughly vetted, clear-eyed, and exercise good judgment. Elon Musk and his Doge employees should be held to the same standard as other executive branch employees, whether that's for conflicts of interest or passing a drug test to maintain employment or a security clearance. In the wake of Trump's top national security officials sharing classified information on an unsecured Signal group chat, putting our service members' lives at risk, it's more important than ever to protect the American people from the Trump administration's reckless incompetence and blatant disregard for our national security, said Rep. Mikey Sherrill. Typically, government officials who with access to highly sensitive information are required to pass the drug test and are subject to intermittent random testing as a condition of their employment. This ensures that officials who have access to our government's most sensitive information are following the law and cannot be blackmailed for their illegal drug use. Sherrill's bill would require Elon Musk and special government employees like him to consistently pass these same drug tests in order to maintain access to sensitive information. Yeah, that seems like common sense, but common sense is not often employed, certainly as much as ketamine is for Elon Musk. He likes that a lot, doesn't like the common sense. And that's why we see, in part, this ridiculous behavior, these horrible actions, and Elon Musk's constant attack on our government. And it's not just the attack Mikey Sherrill pointed out there, it is the security of our information, which when Elon Musk is on one, I don't know how secure it is. And there are many different scary elements of Doge, and we need to be highlighting all of them, which is certainly what Bernie Sanders was doing at a CNN town hall right here.
Senator, what would you say to federal employees who are concerned about the careless workforce cuts being effectuated by Elon Musk and Doge?
I want to say two things about that. First of all, thank you and your colleagues for your years of service. The vast majority of federal employees are trying their best to do the jobs that have to be done to protect the American people, and I thank you all very much for that. The idea that Mr. Musk goes around and with a chainsaw, I mean, that is his metaphor, a chainsaw, slashing jobs all over the place, telling people based on nothing that they have poor performance records, throwing them out into the street is outrageous. But I want to say something else, above and beyond. And by the way, I was just on the floor a few hours ago. They have decided in their brilliance, and I suspect this is a Musk initiative, to lay off, they have a proposal to lay off 83,000 workers at the Veterans Administration. Got that? So we made a commitment to the men and women who put their lives on the line that we were going to provide them with the best quality health care that we could. And generally speaking, I know in my state, veterans are very proud of the health care they get in White River Junction, Vermont, and that's true in many places in this country. But arbitrarily throwing 83,000 workers in the Veterans Administration, lowering the quality of care for our veterans, delaying the kind of the time in which they're going to get their benefits is a total outrage. I want to add one point to that. I want everybody to think about this. Most people, we have millions of federal employees, most people are not federal employees. And I think many people are saying, wow, that's outrageous. I really feel for these federal employees thrown out on the street. But I want you to think about this. If Musk can do this to federal employees, some of whom are in unions, some of whom work for years, what do you think he's going to be doing when artificial intelligence and robotics comes for your job? Guess what? The job you have today ain't going to be here in 10 or 15 years. And you think Musk and his friends are saying, oh, my goodness, how do we protect American workers from the explosion in technology that we're seeing? They don't give a damn about you. If this is what they could do to federal employees, think about what they could do to people in the private sector. So bottom line there is I am not a Luddite. I think technology has many positive things to say. But we have got to understand that new technology, AI, robotics, has got to work for working people.
There is no reason that Elon Musk ever should have had the amount of power he currently does. It is diabolical. It is scary. It runs antithetical to everything that America is about. And I'm so glad that Bernie Sanders continues to deliver that message every place he possibly can. We are going to see another stop on the anti-oligarchy tour with him, AOC, and Ro Khanna, one of our favorites on the show, someone who I actually recently talked to. So take a look out for that pretty soon. But this is what we need. Constantly hammering home this message of Donald Trump's attack on our democracy, on our institutions, just to serve his oligarchy, his his billionaire buddies. And we need to call that out, obviously. But thankfully, it's a few steps away from being gone from us soon, which is what Greg Kazar was talking about right here.
Here's the big news that people across the country haven't heard but need to know. 50 days from today, Donald Trump must, by law, fire Elon Musk. Last night, 76 House Democrats sent a clear message to President Trump. The clock is ticking. Since the beginning of this administration, Trump and Musk have exploited Musk's designation as a so-called special government employee to allow Musk to receive over $8 million a day in federal government contracts and subsidies while ignoring our conflict of interest rules and while funneling more and more money to himself and to his companies. But the law is crystal clear. A special government employee like Musk must leave the federal government after 130 days. We would be here for hours if I tried to recount every single one of Musk's illegal actions or abuses or attacks on working Americans, but let me give you just a few. In his 80 days in power, Elon Musk has fired more veterans from the federal government than anyone else in history. Elon Musk has fired independent watchdogs that were investigating his own companies for corruption and for breaking the law. Elon Musk called Social Security a Ponzi scheme, tried to shut down the phone lines that seniors use to get their checks. They degraded the system so much that we were being warned that it was on the verge of crashing and collapse. Elon Musk demanded access to Americans' most sensitive and private medical records and tax information. Elon Musk tried to steer billions of dollars of government contracts towards his own companies while already collecting $8 million a day from the federal government. Elon Musk fired nuclear safety workers, air traffic controllers, and people trying to combat ongoing disease outbreaks. This must end.
Oh boy. The day when he is gone, we will be throwing a party on this channel. You're certainly all invited. I think we maybe do a live stream for that day and just like have fun. Just like kind of, I don't know, maybe we get like a spread going. Just like have some food, just be like hanging out all day, just be bathing and basking in the Elon is gone-ness of it all. I'm looking forward to that day. And if you want to stay updated on it, it's coming around the corner. As always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.